Questions, comments, thoughts, concerns? Okay, so now at this point, we've developed at least some vocabulary where we understand some safety and we understand some of the requirements. So, while this is not a raw marksmanship training event, we do want to make sure that you're getting good at marksmanship. Did anybody miss that 10-inch target? Yes? Who missed it all? You know who misses? The best guys in the world, right? What was Michael Jordan's field goal percentage, Kanan? We've looked it up. 50-something? So even one of the best basketball players in the world missed half the time, right? What's like a really great batting average? Right, so now we're missing 70% of the time, right? So even the best people in the world aren't doing it perfectly, but in training, I don't want to train to no fucking 30% standard, right? Nobody's hurting me. There ain't a major league pitcher whipping 90-mile-an-hour balls at me, right? I can take the time to refine the marksmanship because there was zero time constraints on anything. I can pick on Bob. Bob's a really good shooter. And the one thing like that I noticed training with Bob the last time Z and I were down here, he's a bomb guy, so he's probably, I'm gonna take my time. I'm not gonna blow my dick off like last time, right? He's pretty metered. That's how we develop the marksmanship skill, but then eventually we're gonna have to plug in the shit, I gotta shoot this bitch fast, which is where some of this body posture comes in. Still seeing some weirdness with how we're connecting our hands. We often say slow down if we're having trouble. I can do the right thing slow, I can do the wrong thing slow. I can do the right thing fast, I can do the wrong thing fast. I slow down to be mindful of what I'm doing, right? So it's not like I need to touch the gun, but if I'm forgetting like the basic steps, just pause for a minute and go, what do I gotta do? So Z and I like to have adopted very closely in our training this idea that Lou Holtz from Notre Dame brought to light. Win. What's important now? It's about as basic as it gets. This is what he'd tell his players. What's important now? What do I got to do right now? What's the next thing I got to do? Challenge is sometimes we don't fucking know what the next thing is. So we just got to do the best thing or ask, right? If I miss, what's important now? If I miss, if I'm shooting, what do I got to do? Right. How do I know I missed? Yeah, I know where the shot went. And really, without much training, a couple weeks, you start to know you missed before the hole appears in the paper. You guys ever dry your hands in the bathroom and you're standing there and you throw the ball of paper towel at the toilet or at the garbage can? And as soon as it leaves your hand, you know it's going in, but it's not because you have faith in your paper towel throwing ability. You've done it enough times that in your brain, you're like, oh, I've computed trajectory and speed and it's gonna go in, right? The same thing, the gun comes up, you recognize the sights, you press the shot, your brain's like, yeah, good shot, next. And that's what we gotta get to, but that comes from mindfulness. Let's pace our misses. Pace the misses. Target 12, where are you at? Is that Yuri? So we're gonna work on your grip. So you're just pasting anything in the white. You guys needed to chug some water. Chug some water. We've got days in the sun. You should be peeing every hour or two. If there's not good urine coming out of you, we're not getting enough hydration. Okay, we're all back. Couple things. First of all, this is my target zone, right? We're no longer group shooting. I'm hitting the target. Training's kind of an interesting thing because you have to internalize what's happening and decide if it's pass, go, fail, or succeed. If the objective is hit the black on this target, if I hit the black, that's good. Sergeant Slaughter over here wants to shoot a tight group every time because somewhere deep in you were in the Marine Corps too, right? And every Marine is what? A rifleman, right? They're a marksman. So deep in his psyche is shoot a tight group. Well, I have to be able to also accept that this is the target zone. It's like a field goal. It either goes through or it doesn't. Even if it bounces off and goes through, it's good, is it not? So if it's on the black, it's good. End of story. Which means that when you find your sights on the target, as long as they're there and you press the trigger without disturbing it, the shot's gonna go there, good. Now, that said, I don't wanna just dance the ragged edge. What's the game you play, RimWorld? I don't wanna be a rimmer, right? I don't wanna be a rimmer. I wanna be right in the center And you can shoot quickly in the center. You guys saw me on 1 foot. Where's my target? Like, that's a pretty acceptable, right? I'm happy with that for shooting that target on 1 foot. Fine. But don't add to it if it doesn't need to be there. Got it? Next. So we've got this idea of if I'm going to draw, I can prep myself, body posture, right? In like this, like fighting, this weird training world that we're all in because we're here. There's terms that have been around for a long time that are now becoming more commonplace. Pre-fight cues or pre-fight indicators. You guys ever heard about those? So you can study humans and figure out, man, if some guy blades himself and you see his hand drop back, he might be ready to frickin' swing up and knock your jaw off, right? You can put yourself into, it also have cues. You can place yourself into a pre-fight stance. You know you're about to draw. Cool, man, weight comes onto my toes, my butt pops back. I feel my body get to the position. That's the start position. A guy comes to the free throw line. To those guys, if you watch the same major leaguers do something, batting, golfing, etc., you see them go through a process. Tap, 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 roll. Tap, 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 roll. Tap, tap, tap. They are initiating a sequence that then their training goes. Got it? The batter taps the frickin' shoe, steps back, does the grip thing, steps back in. I don't know what it fucking is, but when you put yourself in the posture, you are telling yourself, okay, the software I wrote, I'm about to tell it go. You might not have good software, so what's your job? I gotta write the fucking software. Like Z said a minute ago, if you don't, you're gonna get out what you put in. One time he goes, if you got a piggy bank, and that piggy bank's up on top of that dresser, and you don't put no money in that piggy bank, and then later you go to get some money because you're gonna buy you an ice cream, and you reach your hand in that piggy bank, but you didn't put no money in the piggy bank, you fingering around and there's no money because you didn't, you get the thing? You gotta put it in there if you wanna get it out. Did I sound just like him? A little bit? Pretty much. George says pretty much. So there's a pre-fight or a pre-shooting sequence, and there's a post-shooting sequence. I've shot. What'd you guys learn a little bit about this morning with Rob? Breathing, right? If I on the count of 3 said lower your heart rate and relax? On the count of 3, lower your heart rate and relax. 1, 2, 3. What'd you all do? You all just took a breath, didn't you? Same thing your mommy told you. So we know to do this. When your dog walks in the living room and plops down on the floor, what's a happy dog do as soon as he lays down? Fucking home. I'm on the floor, Dad. I was out eating shit, right? That's the same thing that we can do. So you're on the line, you finish. You'll hear me do that a lot. I'm not upset. People look at me in the grocery store like, what's his fucking problem? Just relaxing, dude. I'll go, just kind of trying to relax a little bit. I got to do it quieter because I freak people out when I come right behind them when they're looking at onions and I right in their ear. Oh, no, nothing. I'm just looking at onions too and I just keep walking. I'm going to do that to you. I can do that, assess my target. Is it good? Did I hit? Did it work? Do I need to shoot again? Yes, no. Bang. Because I missed. Nope, I'm good. Finger straight, recover. That's easy. So we'll do a post-shooting sequence. Yes? If I start to build that in, it becomes habit, and then that habit, if it's built around good training, that's how I'm gonna act and respond. Make sense? Yes. Anybody ever been taught that after they shoot, there's one guy down here in this part of the world, you shoot, come to high port, and you do a 360 scan. I don't actually have an issue with that if that's your thing. There's a guy by me that teaches every time you draw, dominant hand of the gun, Dracula cape, draw, touch, punch out. You could be 100 yards from the target, Dracula cape, and it's because something bad happened, so then they created this thing. Anybody ever see somebody do this? Shoot a target, track down to the ground, compress in and holster? That was popular in the 90s. Draw, shoot, track down, or mount the rifle, shoot, track down. Did you ever get taught that? You seen it? In the 90s, that was the thing because somebody got shot after shooting somebody. So, man, if I just force myself to point my gun at the imaginary bad guy, well, what if the bad guy was up there on the side of the hill, right? Or on a mezzanine or on a rooftop like we just seen lately in a couple of situations, right? We're on top of the trailer. So it's pay attention. We know nobody's behind you? Yes? If you feel you need to do that, do that. I would rather engage in what I know, right? If I'm sitting with you guys all at dinner, I'm not going to be like, who the fuck's coming in here? Right? I think we can relax out here. We got to be able to relax somewhere. Yes? Does anybody have any questions on that? Yes, sir?
I think the thing is, you're training yourself to see something. You're trying to create a muscle memory or whatever words you want to use for looking at something that you need to observe. It's kind of defeating the purpose, no? It's kind of defeating the purpose. If I train myself to, after you do that long enough, are you really paying attention to what the fuck you're doing? You're just going through the motions. It's like if I go through the motions of how to load or unload a gun without actually looking at the thing that I'm trying to see, did that really clear the gun? No, it doesn't. It just goes through the motions. So if you're scanning and looking for something that's not there, just to make yourself turn your head, eventually over time, you're just doing that without thinking about it, right? And that's not one of the things that we want to do without thinking. That's designed so you pay attention to things outside of your internal thought. External things. Internal thought, oh, Nick, external, right? See what I'm saying? So if you wanted to do that, what you wanted to practice is actually paying attention to something that deserves your attention around here. One thing that deserves my attention around here is any of you that I don't know very well holding a gun. It deserves my attention. Just like if I got a gun out, you should be paying attention to me. You don't know me that well, right? You don't know if I've got great safety habits, a good system, or if I'm doing something malicious or not, right? So does that make sense to pay attention to?
Yeah.
Do I need to make myself just do this? I see you guys looking. You don't even know what the hell you looked at. Probably should look at me and say, all right, his gun's put away. His gun's put away. All right, maybe this would be the time that I'll pick up something off the ground, or that's something, you know, I pay attention to make sure they're not doing something unsafe to me, unbeknownst to them. Right, so we do that to program yourself being mindful, not to just program yourself on autopilot, because when you're on autopilot, you're not paying attention to that part and you're not being mindful, right? So the deep breath helps, right? Rob can talk about this in excess, taking a breath and how my brain starts working again, right? If I'm overcome by events or I'm caught up internally thinking about what did I do on the target? I think I just missed. Damn it, I need to get better at that. Oh, I fucked up my draw. Okay, let's take a breath. What's important now? Vic already mentioned that. What's important now is let me holster this thing safely and pay attention to the environment that could be unsafe around me. Right?
Yep.
You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Am I saying it's wrong to scan
No.
around? No, I'm just saying do it with a purpose if you're going to do it instead of just, maybe your purpose is to loosen up your neck. Maybe that's what you're doing.
You guys all sound like this to me. After I'm down here, every time I'm down here, it sounds just like Jeremy, Brandon. Okay. Questions? Couple grip things. If Shuri, where are you at? Which one, 12? How'd you do this time? Take a look at your magic hands. The universe, the Lord, whoever you believe designed you, did a really fucking good job. The fact that we have all these little moving bits and pieces and we feel and can control shit is pretty freaking magical. Look at your index fingers as your hands are open. Just open your hands up like somebody's gonna put $5 in your hand and just move your index finger. Look at it. Don't look at me. Move your middle fingers. Move your ring fingers. Move your pinky fingers. What do you see happening with your other digits? All kinds of shit's moving, right? Look at your hand and just look at all the bits that are moving. If you're seeing what Yuri's seeing here on 12, low left for a righty or right and low for a lefty, you're probably changing the grip pressure. When we're shooting rifles, we'll get prone and everything's perfect, but then we start shooting without a support, and all of a sudden you see shots. We're shooting here at 200 yards and you're seeing dirt kick up here. Then you go watch the shooter, you see this as they're pressing the gun, just the cert gun. As the instructors are watching, one of the things that we're looking for is this shit. If I see these muscles in your arms flexing and popping, they're changing. So they might be flexed like mine is now. Then as the shot breaks, you're going to see movement, the muscles tightening. But I can't allow these fingers to tighten. So whatever grip force you've got applied, made up number, 100 pounds, 100 pounds, it stays 100 while the trigger's pressed. If 100 becomes 110, this moves. That's it, nothing more. So keep the grip pressure consistent. Odd shot last? Yes, so evens back to the line. So now we'll take a look and we're going to figure out if your grip sucks. We're not going to have you shoot air quotes fast, but this is on you, shoot when you have a sight picture. I will demonstrate what I'm talking about. Where are you guys all at? We're good? So here's what I'm talking about. So I'm going to have you come from the holster. It's going to look like this. I'll say up. We'll do it again without a feeding issue. Up. 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 So I'm not shooting blazing fast. I'm getting another sight picture and shooting. Could I shoot faster? Sure. We're not trying to go blazing fast. Get a sight picture, drive the sights or dot back to the target, shoot again. I'm sure Philip's probably a really fast shooter, aren't you, Philip? Philip looks like the kind of guy that can run the gun. You can handle a pistol. Can't you? The mustache like that, it says it all. I'm gonna get one of them placards that says, it's got an arrow and it says park bench and just point straight up. Park bench. See where I'm going with that? Your face is a park bench. So just Philip. Just Phillips. And up. Perfect. And recover to the holster. Good job. So, not blazing speed, but he identified where his sights were, he shot again. So we're going to run some 2-shot drills. If your grip's weak, we're going to see you fighting for the sights, or we're going to see you missing. Did you see how he gripped the shit out of that gun? Did the gun move when he shot? Looked pretty flat to me. Did you guys notice it? Yes, no? Okay, here we go. We'll go 2 shots on the up command. Up! 2 hands working. Up! And up! One thing that I'm not seeing off of some of you, don't shoot that second shot and drop the gun. We don't need to be neurotic about it. You're just deciding. It's like when you pull up to an intersection, I look right, I look left. Do you guys ever look right again? Because in the time that you look back this way, something could have changed down there. I'm just taking enough time to confirm I got everything I need and I'm in control of what's happening and I'm not just running some stupid autopilot. You don't autopilot your way into traffic, do you? You confirm. Yes? Any of you have kids? Any of your kids ever drive with other people? Yes, no? I'm concerned when our kids are with other people. Does this person have the same care of children, of my child, that I do, right? Are they paying attention? Are they a douchebag? Treat this shit like your kid's life is at stake, like that level of care, and you will develop good processes. Processes? Up! He didn't like the park bench joke. I thought it was funny. I mean, that means that chicks can sit on his face. Up! Slack out, come to that hard spot of the trigger. So you're just going to move the first 3/4 of the trigger press. Some of these guns don't have that. Like Greg's double action, when his hammer's forward, there's no movement, right? So he doesn't get that movement. But when his double action's in single, he's got a bunch of movement. So you got to know your own trigger. Come to the wall, smooth, smooth. Tell yourself, smooth, smooth. Or Nothing moves, nothing moves. My hands are vices, my hands are vices. Whatever mental thing you want to attach to that. Up. And recover to the holster. If we're all holstered, scoop your gear, swap the line. Up. Up. Okay, had a question from somebody on the right end of the line. Talking about shooting at different angles was causing an issue where the dots weren't lining up or where their dot was not aligning with their eye. Shooting irons or a dot is really the same thing. And what I mean by that is these are just reference points on a metal tube for you to point the metal tube. Again, people can talk ad nauseum. I can say this with utter clarity. Having a high level of skill does not always mean that you have the best ability to articulate something. Doesn't take it away. It's not because somebody's an Olympian or a world champion doesn't mean that they don't have that ability, but that ability doesn't always mean that you can articulate it. In fact, I've got friends that are world champions that are not very good at instructing. That is not, I'm not saying that because I'm not a world champion. I'm saying oftentimes people try to make this shit hard. If you go talk to guys, Max Michel's a good one, Travis Tomasi's another one, JJ Racaza, they don't really spend a lot of time thinking about some of the things that people want to think about. They instead present the gun over and over and over and over again with a conscious effort to make it appear in the same spot. So, if I have a rifle or a shotgun, doesn't matter if you've got a scope, a red dot, iron sights, a bead on a shotgun, what's one thing a long gun has that a pistol doesn't? A cheek weld, right? The stock allows me connection to the body, and as that gun comes up to my eye line, to the best of my knowledge, there's no long gun that I've ever seen somebody taught to shoot where you do not create a cheek weld. Have anybody ever seen one? I don't know of one. If you're actually shooting it as designed, you know, shooting under nods and shit from the hip or whatever is not what I'm talking about. Every long gun I know, you form a cheek weld. Would you guys agree or disagree? Can you think of a shooting sport or something that I don't know about? I can't. That cheek weld gives you an immediate, repeatable relationship to the eye. Who shoots a bow? Archery. Who shoots archery? Just a couple of you, really. So shooting archery, even if you're not going to hunt, will make you a better shooter. I've shot longbows and recurves since I was a little kid. You raise your hand, George. When you draw, what's this called? An anchor. An anchor, right? In archery, this is called an anchor. You anchor back to your face. An anchor, does it move? A good anchor? No, it's stuck. So you're creating a point that you always go back to. When we're shooting a pistol, we don't have that. I can move in a million different orientations, which is why you've got to really work on putting this thing floating in this spot in front of your face. That takes repetition. You're trying to remember how to do it. We all have used a fork. Yes? Have any of you gone to like eat and just stabbed yourself right in the cheek? God damn it, I have 4 new holes in my face. Any of you ever done that? No, you haven't. You have bit your tongue. You've maybe scratched your gums if you were trying to do something while eating. But if you were actually engaged in eating as an adult, most of you, besides spilling soup, have not stabbed yourself with a spoon or a fork. Have you? You're pretty good. Have you picked up a cup and missed your face and just dumped it in your ear? No. So buzzword, what do we call that? This ability to understand where our body is in time and space. What is it? Right, so now in the shooting, I know a word that I don't even understand, but I'm gonna say it, right? A ballerina has good proprioception, right? A gymnast has good proprioception. A tennis player has good, or if they're good at these sports, right? A juggler, one could say, has a good understanding or good awareness of where their body is in time and space. We're developing the ability to appear this thing in the same spot. If I start moving my head, if I start changing my grip, if I change the pistol, if I start changing the orientation of anything, I'm going to get a different reference to the sights. Agree or disagree? the long gun, when it's attached to me, everywhere the gun moves, my eye relationship doesn't change. If I go prone, it doesn't change, right? If I'm shooting around something, it doesn't change. It's really easy to do that with the pistol though, change that. If I took one of those toilet paper tubes and I glued it to the gun, if I can see through it, my gun is pointing at the target. If I'm not seeing through it, my gun's not pointing at the target, yes? And that's all a scope or an optic is. The sights are just one engineer's way of saying, let's line these things up. During the Revolutionary War, these guys were shooting muskets. There's talk of, I believe it was John Adams. Don't quote me on it, but look it up. These guys were shooting shit with their muskets several hundred yards away. These are super shitty projectiles, you know, dumping the powder in, the whole nine, a couple hundred yards away without sights. What was their reference point? It was just like Robin Hood shooting a bow, they were referencing what it looked like on the target. So had to be something repeatable. So if I'm not seeing my dot, I am just changing the orientation of that. What you gotta do, practicing with an unloaded gun, get a perfect sight picture, think about what your head posture is, burn that in, that's what it is. I'd bring the gun like right here, put it right back. Bring the gun here, put it right back. Bring the gun here, put it right back. Bring the gun here. You could go put a piece of masking tape on the wall, whatever safe thing you can point your gun at. Now, if I only do that at shoulder height, have I developed a skill that I can use outside of a shoulder height target? No, I fucked myself. Like, man, I can double leg anybody as long as they're drunk, blindfolded, not aware of me about to attack them, right? Very low lighting conditions. I've had a little bit of cocaine to speed me up, right? Yeah, I'm always gonna be successful. So I'm gonna take that same piece of tape and I'm gonna move it a foot off the floor. I'm gonna maybe put 2 pieces of tape up and I'm gonna go sight picture, sight picture, sight picture, sight picture. That's the boring thing of getting good. Any of you guys ever read Tim Grover's book, Relentless? Who's read it? A couple of you? My man that was a Division I athlete. Nobody else? You read? Never? So Tim Grover was Michael Jordan's trainer. And at the time, Michael Jordan said, I'm gonna pay you a lot of money and it's just me and you. Once he was done with Jordan, he worked with Kobe Bryant, he worked with Dwayne Wade, who else? Bunch of those guys, like the best guys in the world. And we got a little connection to him. Paul Sharp, one of Paul Sharp's good buddies, who's one of the doctors that works on me at Attack Athletics, which is in Chicago, was one of their medical trainers. He talks about Michael in the book. He was a psychopath. His friends were at prom. He was shooting free throws in the dark with car headlights. Like, he'd win championships and people are like, I'm going to Disney World. He'd tell Tim, I will see you at the training gym tomorrow back in Chicago. We just won, you know, the NBA finals. I'll see you, I'm 7 a.m., I'll see you. And he would drill this shit ad nauseum. So we can't expect, as Z said, for these things to just appear, and there's no magic trick. There's no do this technique and it works. The technique is drilling it. What's the wrestling adage, Derek, about drilling? Drillers are, right. You can't just do, G's like, why didn't you ask me? I'm a wrestling coach. He's a wrestling coach now. What's the caveat to that? I got to do it right? I got to do it right. So you get 1,000,000 reps and then not do it right, you're going to fuck it up. Last point on that. Every rep matters. I mean, you're out here spending your money. You guys ever waste money? It's annoying, right? And then you're like, I'm not going to do that again. And then you do. You know, you do buy some stupid thing. I should have bought the more expensive one. I shouldn't have invested in that. I shouldn't have paid that girl to do that to me at the truck stop, right? Whatever you're wasting your coin on. Time is our commodity, right? So every rep, it's incumbent upon you to think about, just a cert gun, is the grip right? Yes. Sight picture, press. Finger straight, break it down. After lunch, we're gonna identify a couple more grip issues and we're gonna work some more marksmanship. We should be able to hit this from back at 10 yards all day long. So if we can't do that, we're not gonna hit steel at 25 and 30 especially when we're smoked the next couple of days.
So one thing that we do, we like to refine our grip, right? So many people, when they're working their grip, of course we want the same touch point, bottom of the trigger guard, or either our middle finger, whatever we can accurately find and make a connection to make our grip, right? And we want our grip to do the same thing every single time. Why do we want the grip to do the same thing every single time? We get predictability out of that. I ain't got time to think about all that stuff, but I'm using the gun in context, right? If I'm trying to be fast to beat somebody in a competition, or if I'm trying to defend myself or others, right? I want the gun to be there, ready to go, right? One of the most common things that I see as far as grip goes is not necessarily how you organize your grip. Sorry, it connected to my neck. Not how you organize your grip, which that's a problem too. We got to make sure we got the same spot every single time, and I like to get as much meat on the gun as possible with my support hand. That's why my hand is like this, to make room for the meat of my thumb on my support hand to get in there and make a good connection to that gun. But what I see mostly is we connect with that support hand, and then the support hand don't do much. It just kind of hovers there. I joke around and say it's not for emotional support, it's for actual physical support. I'm here for your emotional support, right? So make it work. Make the support hand actually support. Does that make sense to everybody? Now, Mick was talking about it earlier, and it's going to come into play when we're talking about acceptable accuracy and pinpoint accuracy or precise accuracy, right? There's a difference. We talked about it. We wanted you, the first drill of the day, what do we want you to do? Pinpoint accuracy. We wanted you to make the best group that you could, right? And that's usually something along the lines of making each bullet touch one another, right? And if you couldn't do that, no big deal. Some hitches in your giddy up in your system that you haven't worked out yet. But that's precise accuracy. And then we started talking about, once we were drawing and shooting, we said what we call acceptable accuracy, hit somewhere in the black, right? The reason we give you that allowable area is because we're really worried about you putting it all together and doing it relatively quick, right? Not so much pinpoint anymore. Within the black could symbolize this, right? The critical areas that might stop a threat or whatever you want it to symbolize. Does that make sense to everybody? So we get the difference, acceptable accuracy and pinpoint accuracy. Now, acceptable accuracy could seem a lot like pinpoint accuracy, because if I'm up here at this 4-yard line and I'm shooting that number 10, right? And I'm doing it as fast as I can do it accurately, whatever that looks like. And then I move back to the 10-yard line and I say shoot the 6. I can still do that as fast as I could do it accurately, but it's probably going to look a lot slower, would you think? So it's going to look a lot more like pinpoint accuracy, because I'm going to have to get that gun out. I'm going to have to prep that trigger, because tighter tolerances. Back there, I barely move the gun at that distance, at that size target, probably not going to stay on target. Makes a difference, yeah? So we understand the difference in those two. So if I'm looking for acceptable accuracy for, say, a distance of 4 yards, we've got a line here for 4 yards, and I've got a target, we'll say the number 9 or the number 4, a little bit smaller than the 10 or 5, right? I could probably not be pinpoint, just grip the gun real well and make it go into that spot on those allowable, that allowable target area. Follow me? So what we're going to work on is the doubles drill. The doubles drill for me is, I think people use it for different things, but in general, I mean, if you're a USPSA shooter or some type of competitive shooter, usually you're shooting 2 shots in an A zone, right, as fast as you can for the distance allowed or whatever's available to you, right? So I'm not really concerned with that. I'm just concerned with you making a good grip, pressing that trigger as fast as you can press it with just one sight picture. Why? Because I'm validating my grip, not validating my sights at this point. Because I know if I just aim generally where I want to aim, this thing touches my neck and goes crazy. Well, my shirt is on my neck, so that's the thing. Put my gun away. Does that work good enough? Y'all hear me good enough? So I can generally just point right there at the center of that 9 as long as I'm staying at the same spot and yank on that trigger however I want to yank on that trigger, as long as the gun doesn't move, or I'm not making the gun move anyway. It's going to move a little bit, obviously, right? As long as I'm not making it move, it should still come back to the same spot, right? And there's this idea, and it's not my idea, people talked about this before, wherever your eyes are looking is where the gun tends to go, right? And there's all little exercises you can do where I put my hands out and I look down, and people try to push my gun down and they're able to push it down, or I look up and they're able to push my gun up. But if I look direct straight and they try to move my hands, it's harder to move because my body is responding to where my eyes and mind is driving my body to go. Does that make sense? Also, there's always going to be movement in the gun. No matter if I'm the strongest man on earth or not, if I want the gun to cycle correctly and do what it's supposed to do, the gun has to move because the energy of the slide goes back and reloads another round semi-automatically, right? So on and so forth. So the gun has to move, but I don't need to move my concentration. So the gun will be moving, everybody see this? Something like along those lines, but where should my eyes be? Because the sights is gonna be hard to focus on the sight, especially iron sights. Yeah, I'm looking at the target. I'm just driving the gun where I want it to go. If I want it to go towards Bob right there, my thumb could be moving, but I'm looking at the center of Bob, right? If I look at the sight, I start to want to go or look where the sight's telling me to look. It wants to do this, so I might start looking up with it. Of course, it's not that dramatic, but my eyes are looking up, and then I tend to follow where my eyes go, so my gun goes up. Or if I perceive that I'm not gripping strong enough and the sights are moving a whole lot, and I'm like, ugh, push them back. And who was talking about position earlier, and Mick demonstrated that you don't really need to be in the most aggressive stance to shoot very well. Getting in a good fighting stance is good for fighting, not necessary for shooting really, right? I don't have to be like this to shoot good. And he showed you. So what we do though is we see the gun moving or behaving in what we perceive as an erratic way. So we're like, all right, I'll put more into you. When your big ass bodies put something into this little ass gun, the gun just does what you say. It can't tell you no different. You control it. So when I drive back in, then the gun goes down, right? So both of those are me overcompensating for the movement of the gun. Either I'm just riding the sights, paying attention to that, so I let the gun go up, or I overcompensate with the movement of the gun and try to press back into it, and then the gun goes down, right? Follow me so far? So the doubles drill to me is just a way of practicing at a pace that allows you to process information instead of like a string of fire, like do a 10-round string, shoot as fast as you can. You can do that, but it doesn't allow for enough processing in between shots, in my opinion, to make corrections on the fly within the drill. So 2 shots fast as I can still get a lot of the benefit of managing the recoil or feeling what the recoil I need to manage and making my grip strong, and also correct things as I go. That's why it's called the doubles drill, shooting twice at a time for a certain amount of string or repetitions of fire, right, to get the result or get the information I need off the target. Does that make sense, everybody? So let's go into it further. Can I use somebody, one of the instructors? Yeah, let me get Jeremy. Come here. Yo, what do you want? I want you. One of the Jeremys. Doesn't matter which one. So I'm gonna have him aim. Come out this way. Right, and just aim towards in between Derek and them. Training gun, but still want to practice how we want to build. So get where you can see this. If you're over there, get where you can see this. So what we're going to do with a dry gun, we'll have our evens come up first, and then our odds will be our buddy that's helping us out, right? So even numbers up, odd numbers going to come up. He's going to put a hand on the shoulder so I don't get too far ahead, right? That's kind of my touch point to let me know not to be too far ahead, because I don't want to practice getting in front of the barrel. And he's going to make his grip, make it as perfect as he can, right? And all I'm going to do is come in front of the trigger guard, and I'm going to simulate a doubles drill. Basically, hitting the gun twice, causing recoil twice as fast as I can do it. And I'm not trying to knock the gun out of his hand. I'm trying to simulate relative recoil, which is not that bad, right? That's enough. That's pretty good. Is that fair?
Yeah.
I've got that dialed in. It's a dialed in karate chop. Only I can do that at perfect 9mm, 115 grain, whatever, right? So notice I'm not in front of the barrel. Notice I'm not hitting him in his hands. I'm just coming right here. And what I'm going to tell him, and I'll tell all of you guys this, right, on the microphone. I'll say, all right, lock your grip in best you can, and I want you to focus on being high and tight, pressure here, and then pinky pressure here. Both hands or one hand, whatever you need to do to keep these fingers, relax for a second. I'd have coined this, right? It's on video now.
It's coming out. I got to get the copyright and all that stuff, but meat slack, I call it. I never heard anybody say meat slack. And that came to me the other day, right? When I was talking about this particular drill. If his fingers, let me see this gun real quick. So if I'm holding this gun, like right now I'm holding this gun pretty good. It's not gonna get knocked out my hand. But there's still some meat slack here. Watch my fingers, everybody. I'll squeeze these bottom fingers on the pistol grip. See the movement? It's slight movement, but it's magnified at distance when the round leaves the chamber or the barrel. That's meat slack. Now, I've taken that slack out, and now I'm trying to squeeze harder, but I gotta move my whole arm. There's no meat slack. I take the meat slack out. Just like the trigger has slack, taking the slack out. Trigger slack is gone. Meat slack is gone. So if your fingers are loose here, right, and you allow them to operate with your trigger finger, you guys that are having that low left right-handers and low right left-handers, a lot of it's to do with meat slack. And Mick mentioned it earlier, it's like, hey, an easy fix is just crush over those fingers with this support hand. That's an easy fix. That's one that's like training wheels. Like, I need to ride the bike. I ain't got time to figure out how to balance on the bike. Throw the training wheels on there and go, right? Bike riding is necessary right now. Shooting is necessary right now. Squeeze the shit out of those fingers. Therefore, this hand is taking out the meat slack. Does that make sense? Yep. But if I could take out the meat slack prior to that and then also grip with this hand, now I've got a whole lot of grip on that gun and it's not a lot of room to move at all. Makes sense. So however you do it, I don't really care, because it's gonna take time to figure these things out and work these nuances, right? For a long time, I just let these fingers relax and I just squeeze the hell out of it with this hand. Now I tend to squeeze with both hands and my finger still works pretty good. Some people worry about squeezing too hard here and then it causes trigger freeze, my finger don't move fast. Well, you gotta find your niche in there somehow. By how? By shooting and figuring it out. Otherwise, nothing I tell you is gonna make you a better shooter. You just gotta go do it. So we're taking the meat slack out. Right, now crush those fingers, make sure both hands are working, right? Especially down at the end. Why is it important to be strong down at the end of the gun here? It's a counter lever, right? All the energy of the gun is on the top. So if I hold the lever, and people do demonstrations where they hold the gun like this and bang, 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 bang. That's just not a very practical way of holding the gun, or you can get away with that, right? You just grip the gun like this and keep the pressure down low while being high and tight behind the energy as best you can, and the gun should do what you want. Makes sense to everybody. So when we do this drill again, go ahead and get your grip. All right, I'm here, I'm not in front of the barrel. All right, I'm gonna simulate 2 shots as fast as I can chop the gun. What your eyes wanna do is I want you to look at that place on the target. I'm gonna give you a small spot. Look at the middle of that number, whatever that we're shooting at. The very small spot there. Keep your eyes on that. Eyes on there, focus on target, be aware of the sights. Iron sight's a little bit harder because it's 2 things you gotta be aware of. A red dot, it's just 1 thing. Either way, you gotta be aware of where that sight is that's aligning the gun. So eyes on target, aware of sights, right? Take the meat slack out, all slack out. Just let the gun return. A couple times I want you to push back in when I do it. You see the gun come down? So that's what happens if he perceives that his grip is not well and the gun's floppy to him, he'll drive the gun back down. Where will his bullets be? Low. All right, if he gets caught looking at the wrong thing. So Jeremy lost track of the target, right? And he starts looking at this or the red dot, he'll start shooting higher and higher because it goes higher and higher. So he starts to follow it, right? So either way, it's either you didn't grip it and you did something compensated, or you let your eyes get off target. We need to be focused and we need to grip. Focus and grip. So this drill to me is all about just working your eyes, working your grip in a repetitious manner that gets us enough reps where it kind of downloads into us, right? It's the fastest way I've seen to get over this stuff and work my grip and work my eyes where they need to go. Is it perfect? No, I mean, you still got work to do. But most people that do this never shot as fast as we're gonna shoot, right? You don't pull the trigger as fast as you can, usually, right? Because you don't trust it. You don't trust what the gun's gonna do. What I'm establishing here, if I get a good grip, and if I drive my eyes where they need to go at relative range that for the acceptable accuracy that I'm looking for, then it starts to become more predictable. I know the behavior of the gun, I know where I need to look, and now I'm getting the result that I want in a more efficient way because the gun's predictable. Does that make sense? So that's, you might have heard the terminology, predictability or being predictable. Up close, bigger target, locking that gun in, looking for acceptable accuracy, pulling as fast as I can. Predictability is gonna help me. Going back to 10 yards, shooting the number 1 or the number 6, you think that's gonna be more predictable or reactive? That's the difference in predictable. Predictable is, I didn't confirm that everything was gonna happen like it's supposed to, but I'm predicting that it will based off of the behavior that I've already established with the gun. Reactive would be, bang. Do you think I could predictably pull the trigger as fast as I could at 10 yards and hit a number 6? 10 yards, the furthest line, and hit a number 6. As fast as I pull the trigger, you think I could? No, I couldn't. There's not a lot of people who can do that from that distance at that size target. This number 6 target here, right? Because I'm gonna shoot, and because of that distance and that size of target, even if I hold the gun as tight as I can hold a gun, right? And I aim right in the middle of that small spot of that number 6. The gun's moving too far relative to the target's size and proximity, right? So I'd have to bang, and I have to make sure that the sights are back on the target. Do you follow me so far? Back there, the gun's gonna come off a target. Up here, larger target, closer area, closer proximity, the gun's not gonna come off the target very far as long as I do what I'm supposed to do with my grip. So we're trying to build predictability by knowing what our grip needs to do and seeing what we need to see. All right, so here's the drill. Come up, everybody's cleared out. I'll put the evens on line, get my odds beside them, whatever side you want to be on. Doesn't matter to me. I like to be able to see their trigger finger, right? See what they're doing there once they, if they were going to shoot or something like that. So I get on this firing side, shoulder, trigger guard, eyes, target. Aware of sights. Meet slack out. Ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 chops, 2 at a time, right? The little break in between is just him processing. What am I seeing? What am I doing? Right? And we'll do that a couple times and then we'll switch it out. Both groups will get a chance to do it dry like that, kind of work on the big mechanics of it, and then we're gonna do it live. Questions? All right, evens. Yes, sir.
You're shooting at the number 6 from 10 yards. Are you still focused on the target with your sights in the peripheral vision, or are you switching to the background?
Because of the size of the target, I'll probably have to change my focal plane a little bit, double check, especially if I got iron sights. Red dot sights, I don't need to do much focal shift. Iron sights, I probably need to make sure that they're still aligned, so I'll change focal plane, then I'll go back out to the target. But think about the distance. At that distance, this is probably covering the target zone area. So I gotta really do a lot of reactive adjustments, right? Up here, shouldn't be many reactive adjustments. This is big enough, target's big enough, I can just aim generally and I get somewhere in there. Know what I mean? Good question though. Good? All right, evens on the line in front of your target. Guy, shooter or dry firer, you are gonna align your sights, however you align them, iron or red dot, and focus on that smallest part of that 9, that little dot on that 9. Drive your eyes towards that 9 and keep that gun presented there. All right, get like that. Eyes locked in, grip locked in. Now, buddies, you're gonna give them 10 chops, 2 at a time. On you, ready, go. Simulate that 9mm recoil right now. Drive your eyes, don't ride the sights. Just be aware of the sights. Chop, 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 chop. Is anybody confused about what was going on? Is anybody internally when they were diagnosing what was happening in front of them, were they catching themselves looking at the wrong thing? Were you looking at the sights? Or were you driving your eyes to the smallest part of whatever target you'd be aiming at? That's what we want to do. I want to drive my eyes. There's an old saying, it's used all over now, aim small, miss small, right? All I'm doing is tightening the parameters, right? The more I tighten the parameters, the less chance for error, right? So I'm aiming small so I can miss small, right? If I look at the whole target, right, while I'm doing this, then you tend to just shoot all over the whole target, which also involves missing sometimes, right? but you're still doing it as fast as you can, right? That's the key that we're gonna have to get when we start shooting live. You guys, some of you are gonna be like, bang, I don't wanna shoot yet because I'm scared that I'm gonna miss. I don't give a damn. We need you to miss. We need you to fail a little bit, all right? So we can see what's happening if there's a problem. So you press that trigger as fast as you can, and that's how fast that chop needs to happen. All right, let's switch the line. Go ahead and draw. Present that gun. Buddies, start making them lock their vision in. Locked in there. Take all the slack out of your grip. Everything's locked in. Not enough where I'm shaking or anything, but just locked in tight. Now chop that thing 2 times as fast as you can, all the way to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Keep your eyes driving. Let's do that 2 more times for a total of 3 times running through it. Lock that gun in. Right? So some of you, point your hands out like you're holding a gun, lock your elbows out. Lock them all the way out. So some of you might have noticed a couple things that you might need to fix right away. If you got your elbows locked completely out, you tend to want to ride that gun. It tends to want to go just one way, right? So the gun may not be as predictable as other people's grips because your gun don't fall back to the same spot every single time. Maybe less predictable. We're looking for predictability. That way I can press that trigger super fast, not think too much about it, just let it go where it's supposed to go based off where my eyes and what my grip's doing. So if he bends his elbows a little bit, and now I chop up on it, boom, boom. Now he can kind of absorb the recoil a little bit, right? Does that make sense? So if you're locking out like this, it's not really helping you that much. To be honest, it's not a very mechanically sound position. You can lock out this way, but if nothing can move backwards this way, there's only one way it can go, down or up. Do we want the gun to go that way? No, I want it right here. Bang, 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 bang. So my arms can just serve as kind of suspension, just like on a vehicle. Right? They just absorb, which is not enough recoil to make my arms move much anyway. All right? People talk about grip, and they talk about as much with this one as much with this one. What Mick was saying before, or some people give it a number like 60-40 or 70-20-10. Your upper body doing something, right? And I don't know what it is for you. I just make it all work together, and I make sure that this grip meat slack is out, and see what I'm supposed to see, and then I try to let it loose based off of how much the acceptable accuracy allows for, right? This allows for a lot. This allows for a whole lot. This, not so much, even at 4 yards. Make sense? So would I shoot as fast here? You're like, Z, you're beating a dead horse. I know, because people need to hear that, right? You wouldn't shoot as fast there. I'd be more reactive. So ready to try it? Think we can do it? This is what you got to do. Main things, main takeaways that you're going to do internally. I'll try to coach you through. Lock your vision. Small part of the target. Sights aligned. I'm aware of it. Lock your grip, right? Press that trigger as fast as you can twice. Those 3 things. Vision, grip, fast as I can. Bang, 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 bang. All right, I don't care if you prep the trigger. We're not talking about any of that prepping the trigger, taking the slack. I don't care about any of it. Whatever you want to do, just do it as fast as you can. 2 of them, bang, bang. Right, so I'm driving. I'm gonna make my grip as good as I can. I'm taking out my grip slack, right? I'm right sitting on the trigger because I'm at the target. Everything's locked in, and now I'm just looking at the 9. Right, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Does that make sense? So it's hard, especially with iron sights. Some of you got red dots, a little bit easier. Iron sights, it's hard to trust. It's hard to trust because it's moving. There's 2 things moving in front of my face like, hey, look at me, look at me. And I'm like, no, I already put you where I want you. I just got to hold you there. All right, so I lock it back out. There it is. Got a magazine somewhere. I'm dying. I'm dying. Here. So I've locked it back in. See? Right there. So pretty fast shots, fast as I could press the trigger while holding the grip. All I did was look at that 9 once I seen it was a line, and I was generally aware. I could see this little red. My front sight's got a little orange on it. I see it moving. Disregard, I know it's there. I lock it in, I just keep firing. Does that make sense to everybody? Did you see me do any crazy stuff in my grip? Like, was I like this? Yeah. No, I just gripped it, right? I just gripped it the best I could, took the meat slack out. See my sights was aligned, kept my eyes on that spot, pulled 2 at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is it within the allowable target zone area? Yeah. That's all I wanted. That's all you gotta do. Questions? We ready?
Ready.
All right, I'll talk you through it. On the line, go ahead and present that gun at that number 9. Align your sights perfectly. Don't press through the trigger yet, right? Align those sights perfectly. And now that they're aligned, look through those sights and see that little black dot on the number 9. You're gonna drive your eyes there. Take all the slack out of your grip. On the command of up, you will press the trigger twice as fast as you can, and you're gonna do that for a total of 10 rounds. So that's 5 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, if you run out, just reload, right, and holster safely once you're done. Here we go. Lock it in, vision, grip, get ready to press the trigger, ready, up. Who had issues? This one? So that means your grip, when it's all over the place, is this from before?
That was before.
So this tells me there's not any predictability. So no predictability, I didn't lock anything. The gun was just moving wherever the hell it wanted to. So maybe was my eyes looking at the right thing? I don't know. Was my grip doing the right thing? Who knows? Because you got 2 over here. This is from before or just now?
Just now.
See? Usually they'd be going down, meaning I'm doing some predictability, meaning I'm driving back into the gun. Or my eyes are looking at the wrong thing and it goes up. So you gotta make the grip viced in. Both hands gotta be pressing in on the gun. Your support hand is probably not working, right? Fix it. Z, how do you fix it? You make the hand work more, you squeeze it. Is this, who's this, Yuri? Same thing, grip slack, meet slack, lock it the fuck in. What about down here, how they look? Pretty good? Did you pull the trigger as fast as you could?
Yes, sir.
Gotta be true to ourselves. If I don't press the trigger as fast as I can, it ain't telling me shit. Cause I can just shoot slow at that target and hit it. Pretty easy for all you guys. You're fucking awesome. Somebody shoot here or no? Okay. That's it? That's you? That's the only one? Eyes probably got off of it. Eyes got a little squirrely. Your eyes were like, let's look over here. Something's moving. All right, let's do it again. Left hand squeezing, pinky power, whatever you got to tell yourself to lock that gun and take that meat slack out. On the command up, 5 reps of doubles, 10 total rounds. Ready, up. Make the gun the way you want it. Holster safely. Don't pick up anything off the ground until you look around and see guns are holstered and it's safe to do so. Shots are low, he's got about 3 straight down the line. I love that, because I could tell him what was going on. It was I could see a pattern. And I can assess that, diagnose it. It's, you perceive the gun moving, and your mind was like, that's too much movement, man. And you were like, ugh. And again, me versus this gun. You're way bigger than that gun. The gun will move when I tell it to move. So you moved it. That's it. That's all it was. You perceived that the gun was moving too much, and instead of just staying home, drive it there, fuck all that information, drive it where I know to go. You said, all right, I'll drive it down. Fuck you, gun, you do what I say. And it's like, all right, I'll do what you say. And it did exactly what you told it to do. Couple high? Is this all 4 of those?
Yeah.
So what happened? What was your eyes doing? What was your grip doing?
I think I saw him go up
And then you started looking at the sights probably, and you kind of followed it.
Yeah.
It's like a butterfly. Like, there's a butterfly. Fuck the butterfly. There's the target. See how you got to build some discipline here. Drive my eyes where they need to go, make the grip, press that trigger. Cool. Who else? Somebody else had a bad result? Quinn? And you got down in here, or you just aiming at the wrong target?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Come on, you had to be aiming at the fucking 8. Was it moving too fast and then you got back on the target and it was on 8 now? Because that's a pretty good group right in the 8, like you started aiming there. You don't think that's what it was? I mean, you tell me. That's what it looks like. So you aim at the right target, number one, right? But you got a little loose. If this was a result of you just driving the gun down, lock the gun in, the gun's gonna move. You can't stop the gun from moving. Gun's gonna move. I don't care if you're strong as Brian, strong as anybody. Gun's gonna move, because it's gotta move. I just gotta disregard that. It's not moving bad enough for me to deal with it, right? I just keep driving. Boom, 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 boom. When I started doing this drill, I'm bound to fuck it up. I should have a few misses if I'm shooting as fast as I can if I've never done this drill before. Unless I'm just a great shooter right off the bat, right? Some of you are. But at a minimum, I need you to know what made it happen. If I do this drill and I don't know what the fuck happened, we're not paying attention enough. I need to be focused and I need to be intentional about what I'm trying to do. Drive that gun to that spot, lock my grip in. Meat slack, Mick, you heard that before? I made that up, meat slack.
Trademark it.
Make a shirt, right? So lock that gun in and drive your eyes back to the same thing. You should be able to see, either by the target or by your memory of the drill, I was not paying attention. The gun was flying up or my grip was slipping and I had to re-grip. So you should have a diagnosis for what happened. It ain't from nothing, it ain't magic. The gun went where you pointed it, right? Just like Mick told you. Anybody down here super bad? Super bad? Is it predictable? Is it a line one way or the other way, or is it all over? Even grip. Like I was just telling Brian down there, the grip, not just squeezing, gotta be, if I push this way more than, and I compensate, look at the marker. I push this way, lock it in the middle, stays right there. From the back, from the front, it's chalked in. That's no meat slack. Those fingers were working. These.
Yes.
They call them the three amigos. Either they're crushed down by your support hand or they're squeezing by me squeezing them. Either way, these fingers cannot be moving. I don't care how you do it. Don't move them. Crush them or make sure you're mindful about what they're doing by squeezing them and allowing my finger to still move.
Yes, sir.
Follow me? Simple shit, right?
Oh, it's getting it through.
Just don't move the fingers and don't move the gun. All right, let's do this. Keep your guns on you. You're hot already. Switch it out. Eyes up on the line. So we're on target number 4, right? Target zone number 4. Target zone number 4. You're going to be aiming at that triangle in the middle of that 4. You lock that bitch in and aim at that little small part of that 4. Keep your eyes on that 4 no matter what. Keep your eyes on that 4 no matter what. All right, lock your, or present your gun. Lock that grip in. Think about, I'm wedging from behind. My support hand is locking it in on the bottom, right? No meat slack at all in any of my fingers. No meat slack at all. Here we go. Vision locked in, grip locked in. Ready? Up. Too close. That's a slow ass trigger pull. So got a little loose. Was that as fast as you could press the trigger? It was bang, bang. I mean, you can press the trigger pretty fast. Right, it ain't bang, where's the sights? Bang. Is that predictable or reactive? If I go bang, sights, where are they? There it is, bang, shoot again. Sights, where are they? Bang, predictable or reactive? No, I'm reacting to the sights. When you press the trigger as fast as you can, I don't have time to think about where the sights are. I already lined the sights. I lock it in and I press it as fast as I can and get a predicted outcome. Because I didn't confirm that the sights were aligned on the second shot, did I? Right? You see what I'm saying? That's why we got to be as fast as we can. We're validating our grip is doing what it's supposed to do. If you can do this drill halfway good, get information, your grip, you'll see what your grip needs to be. You see what your grip needs to be, or what I think it should be, or to shoot fast and relatively accurate. Oh my God. Where are we at here? So, did you diagnose anything? Did you feel anything that you've seen as a problem?
Yeah, I felt like my fingers were sliding and I didn't have the grip.
Remember everything, high and tight. Chalk in the front, lock it in. I got a vice grip in, right? So I call it pushing and pulling, but it's up to you. So I have a hand on the gun here. Can y'all see this? Hand behind the gun. chalked in, like you chalk a tire. You ever put a block up under a tire so the car don't roll? I'm chalked behind it. There's my chalk behind the tire. Boom, there. Other hand's in the front. I lock it in. I grip them in. I really pay attention to this lever on the bottom. Now I push this arm, I pull this arm just a little bit, and I know damn well that gun can't beat my shoulders. It can't beat your shoulders, right? It's locked. So we gotta really lock it in at even pressure on both sides. Looks different for different people. We've got different size hands, different size guns, but in general, chalked in the front and the back, meat pressed against the gun. I like the leverage down low. Not bad, not bad. First one there, got scared. Somebody shot but next to you probably. So, did everybody that did it that time and before, did you get information out of that? Is it actionable information? You can do something about it? Okay, let's do it again. As fast as you can press the trigger. Ready? Up.